Hello everyone and welcome to another Catan Strategy episode with me, Iswan. So on this board I'm placing first as black, and immediately the best position that kind of comes to mind is that 5, 8, 10 all wheat sheep down the bottom there. But then next to it there's a 6 wheat. That 6 wheat's going to be really valuable, and also that 6, 10, 9 spot is with the brick is very good as well. So in this position, I'm going to choose the 6, 5, 10. There's two reasons. I think I'm pretty confident that I can get down onto that 8 sheep, mainly because the 3, 5, 8 or sheep spot next to it doesn't have wood or brick, so it's going to be very hard for that player to cut me off to that 10 wheat. And also, I really want to block that strong 6, 10, 9 spot with the brick from someone else picking it. So yeah, blocking other people's settlements is an important thing to think about when playing Catan. Blue chooses the 5, 2, 9. I really like this spot, the wood, wheat, sheep. The reason why is because there's two good or brick spots left on the board to choose, and it's going to be highly unlikely that red's going to take both of them. So blue's going to be able to get ore and brick. Those two spots being the 6, 4, 3 and the 4, 5, kind of right next to each other there. So it's a good pick from blue. They've also got that wood port off to the side and the brick port, so that could be really strong in this game. Red places on the 10, 8, 5 wood, wheat, sheep. This is a good pick as well. I assume that they're going to be pairing it with the 4, 5 brick ore or the 6, 4, 3 double brick ore. Chooses to point towards the 3 for 1 port and the extra sheet, which is really strong for them. So it's been pretty good placements from everyone so far. This is looking like a good game. So red decides to go for the 2 bricks over the extra ore. This is a good choice, I think. Actually no. I think that if they had have gone on the 4, 5, they would have equal amounts of brick and wood, which would be stronger, and they'd get a lot more ore. So I actually disagree with this spot. I think red should have taken the 4, 5, but they might be looking at blue and realizing that blue is very strong if they get on that spot because they've got the brick port and the wood port. So if their theory is they're trying to block blue from that spot, not bad, but I think for them it would have been better to go on the 4, 5 as blue just did. Green placed on the 6, 9, 12, a really good pick. They ended up getting a free road, so maybe if they pointed towards that 10 wheat down the bottom with their first settlement, they would have been able to cut me off, but they didn't know they were going to get that spot. So in this position I have a big decision to make. Do I go full all wheat sheep and place on the 11, 4, 3, or place on the 11, 4, 3 with the wood right next to it? In this decision, I end up going for the wood option to play a hybrid all wheat sheep game, just because I think that having that little bit of extra wood to help me build settlements and roads is really going to be helpful, and then I can point towards that wheat port because I'm going to have a lot of wheat production in this game. Alright, let's get this game rolling. First off, I roll a 9, puts brick and wheat on the board. There is a lot of brick on the board from starting settlements, so I'm going to try and trade for it. I really doubt anyone's going to take it in this situation, but you got to try these things sometimes. Green uses their free road to build towards the sheep port. This is good, they produce a lot of sheep, so this will be a good spot for them. Even more brick on the board. So the fact that there's a lot of brick going on this board, so yeah, red tries to trade sheep for brick. I want to accept this trade really badly, but I don't know. Red just doesn't take it for some reason and decides to build a road instead. So yeah, I get the robber, and I don't want to place on a brick because that's going to mean people are less likely to trade it to me. So I'm trying to figure out who has a brick in this spot, but I get timed out and it gets put on the 8 sheep, and I buy a development card and get a knight instead. So yeah, you never want to block a resource that you're trying to trade for. So that's kind of why it made it difficult for me to choose there. Probably should have tried to steal from red, maybe put it on that 8 wheat at the top, but got timed out, didn't think of it quick enough. My turn again, and roll an 8, so it gives wheat to red. So I'm going to try and trade for that brick again, but no one accepts. There is so much brick on this board. This is really good for me trying to trade for it. So yeah, red was trying to get a sheep last turn, so I'm telling him now that I've got sheep and I'm willing to trade for it. In this situation, I accept a trade for ore for brick. This is a terrible mistake from me. You should never give someone a city, especially early on in the game, especially to blue. I should have known that they had ore in hand and wheat in hand because they get the same ore as me from the 5. So I end up trading the sheep for a brick. So that gives me 2 wood and 2 brick, and then now I get a sheep. So I can build a settlement straight away, but at the cost of giving blue a city. You just can't be doing that. And then I'm going to use the knight here, move the robber onto the 9 wheat, which I gave blue a city on, and I get a brick. This is perfect in this situation. So I'm going to be able to build towards that wheat port. Green offering a 3-for-1 trade with a wheat and an ore and a brick in it. I can't say no to this trade. It's too good, and I think they realized that it was too good, and so end up taking a development card instead. Red buys a development card. So I'm going to try and trade and get myself another road so I can build a settlement. I doubt anyone's going to take it, but, you know, sometimes you just got to try these things. They want to trade a wood for brick, but not going to happen. I'm on 7 cards and end my turn. It's a bit of a risk. I probably should have 4-for-1 for an ore there and bought a development card in case I 7 out, but just didn't do that. The green uses a knight to place the robber on red's brick, so it's obvious that red appears to be a strong player in this game and people identify them as a strong player. Blue rolls a 7, which means I have to dump 4 of my wheat, which is really disappointing. Big mistake on the last turn from me. I hope it doesn't cost me too dearly. So the robber gets moved onto the 8 sheep. This isn't really the worst for me. If you look at all my hexes for development cards, I have 2 of each. So I have 2 ore, 2 sheep, and 2 wheat. So it's going to be really hard to block me in this game. So that's one of the benefits of going for this setup that I've gone for. Also, the kind of advantage that I get of going on the 11 wood instead of the 11 sheep at the start of the game is that these expansion spots that I've made so far, these roads that I've built and settlements, wouldn't have been possible without that. So it's definitely the right decision to take that 11 wood, and it's going to allow me to build on that wheat port and be very strong. Especially when I build a city on that 6, 5, 10 right in the middle there. Blue is building up towards the brick port. I don't really agree with this. I think they should be going for that 9-11 wheat sheep. But yeah, I'm not really sure why they're going for the brick port. They don't produce that much brick. So I'm trying to trade here to get a city. I'm hoping that someone accepts it, and blue accepts it. So I guess that came back around in the end. I gave them a city early on, and then they just gave me a city. So yeah, I still think that you can't be doing that. You've got to be very smart when you're trading someone wheat or ore. You've got to make sure they don't have enough to build a city in their hand. So green uses the knight. So green has now played 2 knights. So they've kind of identified themselves as someone who's going to be in the race for largest army. So I really want to block green when I do get the chance, but it's really hard because I share most of my spots with green. So it's going to be really hard to stop green getting largest army. Blue ends up building on that brick port. Yeah, so I'm just hoping that my production of all wheat and sheep is more than green, and I'm hoping that that'll just be enough to that'll be enough to win largest army from them. So I buy a development card and get a Year of Plenty. This is a really good card for me. It's going to allow me to build on that wheat port, and as soon as I get on that wheat port, I'm going to be able to have a lot of versatility in my game and should be able to accelerate quickly. Green is able to now build a city on the 835, so that's bad for me. I really don't want green to be able to buy more development cards. Red taking their time on this turn and use a monopoly to steal wood. Now let's see what they're going to do. So they're going to build down towards that 911 and they get on it. That's a really good monopoly in my opinion. That spot is going to allow them to probably take longest road and get down to that 6-3 wheat ore spot and really cut blue off. So yeah, blue definitely should have gone for that 911 first before the brick port. That was kind of vital to their strategy to win. And yeah, red just used a monopoly to expand there really quickly. So I roll a 7 and I choose to rob that 9 wheat. So that's going to be the pretty obvious spot for me for the rest of the game. Red and blue are both very strong, and yeah, that spot blocks both of them. I get a Year of Plenty with my development card draw. This is really good. Year of Plenties are really good in the late game because essentially what that's going to allow me to do is build my final city when I'm on 9 points. I'd say my win condition in this game is to probably build maybe 2 more cities and hopefully get a VP and then take largest army. So generally getting that last city is really hard because when you get close to 10 points, people tend to start blocking you a lot and it becomes hard to get that final city. So that Year of Plenty is going to be really helpful at the end of the game. So yeah, red moved the robber onto the 5 ore, which blocks everyone else. So that's a really good spot for red to block there. What is blue going to do now? They're probably just going to have to rely on development cards, and even that's going to be hard for them because they don't get sheep. So that was a big mistake from blue, not going on to that 911. Red builds down towards that 6-3, but doesn't have any more settlements left, so they're going to have to build a city before they can build a settlement there. I draw a dev card, and it's a road building. So my instant thought with this is, I can cut red off here to that spot. That's going to really hurt red if I can get to that 6-3 or wheat spot. And then I might even be in a position to sneak longest road. Who knows? But yeah, definitely using that will be smart. And then red's not going to be able to build a settlement this turn because they have to build a city first. So let's see what they decide to do. Do they have enough to get a city? Oh, and they disconnect. But they reconnect. Okay, that's good. And they decide to build a road. Wow. Yeah, okay, that kind of stuffs up my plan. I didn't expect that. Very good move from red. I'm not sure if they knew it was a good move, but it definitely stopped me from building on that spot. So I get a knight as my dev card, and that's really good. I need more knights. I have drawn almost no knights in this game, so I really need to start getting some luck with these dev cards. Blue now has played 2 knights, so they're entering into the race for largest army as well. So yeah, I really need to get everything together and get some knights. blue starting to build up to that 5-10 double wood spot, just essentially because they don't have really much else to do in this game now that red's blocked them off. Red rolls a 7 and puts the knight on that 5-4 again. They're going to be putting it there all game, but I can just move it straight off. And then yeah, I want to block both red and blue here, just because I want blue to stop getting development cards. It's really hurting me if they keep buying development cards and try to race me for largest army. I get a knight, which is good. That's going to allow me to get to 3 knights first. I think if I get to 3 knights first, the green and blue will have a lot of trouble playing 2 more knights to get ahead of me in largest army. So this turn I'm definitely going to have to play my knight and kind of expose myself to red as their number 1 contender. Red has 11 cards here and bang, builds a city and a settlement in 1 turn. That is very dangerous. Very dangerous. So I'm thinking here, roll the dice. I probably should have played the knight first, but didn't. So yeah, I've got enough for a city, and now I know that green doesn't have a knight and blue doesn't either, so I'm confident that in this turn I can use my road building to move over to that 10-9 and build another settlement, and then probably wait till next turn to take largest army, just so I don't look like as much of a threat. Green manages to build a city, but I just don't think that they're going to be able to get it done in this game. Blue builds up to the 5-10 with 11 cards, so surely they can do something. And then blue buys a development card. So this means I definitely need to play my knight this turn. If blue gets to 3 knights before I do, it's going to be really hard for me to get to 4. I'm going to have to buy a lot of development cards to ensure that I get it. So I have to play the knight this turn. And then buys another development card. So yeah, definitely need to be playing it. Crossing my fingers that red doesn't have what they need. But red decides to buy a development card here. I really disagree with that in this position. They should just be saving up and getting ore to build a city. So I'm trying to trade for wheat here because I know if I get 1 more wheat, I can win the game by trading 2 for 1. So I take largest army and take a wheat. And in this position, I know that I could have just 2 for 1 to get an extra ore, but at the time I didn't realize that. And so I decided, just because of the pressure of the clock, that I needed to try and draw for a victory point, and luckily I got one. So that's kind of when the pressure of the clock gets to you in a game, but luckily I drew a development card and win the game. So in this game, I think my original decision to go on the 11 wood instead of the 11 sheep, even though it was only 1 spot difference, it really made a difference early on in this game. It meant that I could expand really quickly to the 8-10 sheep wheat spot, and then the wheat port. So yeah, the hybrid all wheat sheep strategy in this game was really effective for me, helped me expand, and was much better than if I just went for the full all wheat sheep by moving over 1 hex to the 11-4-3. So that's all for this episode. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope you got something out of this video. I would really appreciate any feedback and constructive criticism that you may have, as well as any suggestions for other videos or formats. If you want to see more videos like this, then hit the like button and consider subscribing. Thank you.